It's another AMC Screen Unseen showing. Welcome back to Movie Health Community, the internet's #1 source of health warnings at the movies. I am here at the AMC Highwoods 20 in Tampa, about to watch a movie. I have no idea what movie it is. All I know is it's rated R. I know it's runtime. The question I guess we have now is, what movie am I about to see, and is it back to black? If you're new to Movie Health Community, the main thing we talk about is health hazards at the movies. So before we talk about whether this mystery movie is any good, we're going to be talking about if this movie is safe for photosensitive audiences. Yes, Babes is in fact safe for photosensitive audiences. There are a few things to talk about with flashing lights, but these are all very predictable as long as you know what to look for. First, there's a scene of a photo shoot. There are some single flashes from a camera. The first couple of these flashes may be a little harsh, but they never create strobe effects. There's a scene that has a campfire type flame at night and some close-ups of that flame and the subjects behind it. That flicker of the campfire may be a little stroby. And then the goddamn Neon Studios logo. Neon needs to have an animated logo that does not contain strobe effects. That's the very first thing that happens. So at the theater, if you know what the very last thing is before the movie starts, in AMC theaters, it's usually the Nicole Kidman thing, then just know that the very next thing you're going to see is the Neon logo, and it's going to strobe a little bit on you. But because these are all very brief and very easy to predict, and the only strobe effect at all is the neon logo, we are giving Babes a 3 out of 10 for flashing lights. Honestly, this probably would have been a 1 out of 10 if not for the neon logo. There is a scene that might be a little bit disorienting with its camera work. It involves hallucinogenics. Now, this is a pregnancy comedy, so they do talk a lot about the health ramifications of pregnancy and childbirth. They talk about these in very graphic detail. We never see any close-ups of any of that action going on. There are 3 scenes where people are visibly nauseous. There is on-screen vomiting in the first of these instances, and a very graphic sound of somebody doing it in their mouth and swallowing in the second one. The third one, I think, involves a bit of a burp. I know there's a burp somewhere, I just can't remember if it's with this particular scene. But yeah, if you do struggle with listening to descriptions of what happens to the human body during pregnancy and childbirth, this would probably be a movie to avoid. That brings us right into, is Babes any good? I'm not going to tell you this is a masterpiece. I'm not even going to tell you that I was the biggest fan of this movie, but seeing this movie with a big audience was an absolute treat. One of the things that makes this movie stand out over other movies like What to Expect When You're Expecting or Look Who's Talking is that this movie seems to be more honest about the experiences of pregnancy and childbirth. This movie says things that I don't feel like I've ever seen a movie like this actually have the guts to say, and that includes a really heartfelt conversation between a married couple where, again, they say things in this conversation I've never heard another married couple say in a movie like this, but I have heard it in the real world. And so the fact that this movie is willing to say the things that similar movies would not say makes it worth watching. Now, this movie is very raunchy. It was raunchy enough to cause a couple, probably in their 40s or 50s, to walk out of my theater about 10 minutes in. There are logistical things that make no sense, particularly right near the beginning where somebody is asking somebody to check on a health issue, and somehow checking on this health issue does not result in criminal charges for indecent exposure. There's a side character played by Caroll Lynch who has one running gag that never really works, but he does say one of the funniest lines in the movie that doesn't even have to do with his running gag. So with this movie being as gutsy and as raunchy as it is, it's definitely not a movie for people who are easily offended. But if you feel like you can handle humor about these topics at the highest levels of raunchiness, then I would definitely recommend Babes. This is a movie that I will definitely give props that no man could have written this movie, or nobody assigned male at birth could have written this movie, because this is all told from the point of view of people who are capable of having the experiences of pregnancy and childbirth. And the fact that we're giving writers on these topics more of a platform is only a net good in the world of film and in the world we're living in right now. So I am going to give Babes a B, because even though I didn't really like it, boy did I have a good time watching it with an audience. And it was very clear that even though some men laughed very loudly, the vast majority of the loud laughs came from the women in the theater. Thank you so much to our readers on Tumblr and Facebook, and as always, an extra special thanks to our patrons over on our Patreon page whose names are scrolling on the screen like credits right now. As a reminder, nothing produced by Movie Health Community is medical advice, nor has any of it been reviewed by any medical professionals. Be sure to leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we post new videos, and leave a comment if you have anything to add to this discourse, especially if you disagree with anything I've said. We love hearing from you. And as always, stay safe at the movies.